Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. What movie could have been over in 10 minutes if the main character wasn't such a fool? Don't swim to the drop-off, emo. Okay dad. Credits. I would just lead to a different kind of film where an angsty child rebels in a different way, paints himself black with squid ink, acts depressed and listens to bands like My Nautical Romance and Fall Out Boy. I present to you, Emo the Emo. Finding Nemo. If Mr. and Mrs. Bellala were anything like my parents, the movie would have been called Ferris Bellala's Day at School. If they were anything like my parents, they would have called my bluff, taken me to the doctor's office, and found out, to my own surprise as well, that I had bronchitis. That's how they found a nasty cyst in me once. I was like, I feel lethargic and awful. I'll tell Mom my stomach feels churning and gross. Which was unusual. I always missed school for puking and not just pain. So my mom called the nurse hotline. The nurse told my mom to jab me in the stomach until one of the places hurt worse than the others. It hurt the worst near my appendix, so they did an ultrasound. Ultrasound revealed I have a tiny but healthy appendix, and a serious number of ovarian cysts. So now I don't second guess the is this sick? Do I feel sick? Feeling. If my body is saying bad news bears when I wake up, a lot of the time it's right. Edit. If you're coming in here just to pity party about how you can't tell the difference between real sick and just uncomfortable, and I'm somehow lucky for being able to do the basic skill of is this feeling new or not new. This isn't the comment to do it on. I get nauseated in the morning. I have paranoia when I don't take my antipsychotic. I'm just like you. Stop. Cars. If Lightning McQueen listened to his crew and changed his tires as ordered, he could have won the race. Or if he'd have let Mac go to bed, maybe the back hatch wouldn't have been opened, unchecked, etc. Or if he hadn't have been speeding like the little daredevil he is, he might have gotten to the second race, maybe knowing this time why tires are important. Or if the cars weren't even cars. Look, Cars to me falls under Belisario's principle. Some movies don't have to make sense to be enjoyable. I think it makes sense, it's just that the main character is an arrogant buffoon. It's the entire point of the movie, to force him into a sink or swim situation where he must grow. Edit. This whole thing has caused me to want to rewatch the entire series. Goodbye, 6 hours of my life. But then he wouldn't have gotten lost in some dinky forgotten town, get involved in some wacky hijinks, and meet the colorful cast of tropes/stereotypes to teach Lightning McQueen and the audience the value of selling toys friendship and humbleness. Edit. Spelling. Wow, my first gold and first must-see upvote. Thanks, I'm glad you all appreciate my post. Jurassic Park. If Hammond actually spared no expense. Hammond spared no expense. 15 minutes later. I told you how many times we needed locking mechanisms on vehicle doors. How the fuck do you have a T-Rex but not locks on the car doors? Because they can't reach the door handles with their tiny arms. Don't stiff your IT guys. Also don't put all your IT into one guy basket. Aladdin. If Jafar would have just paid Aladdin what he promised him instead of betraying him at the cave, he would have had the lamp and become king, be mighty powerful. Aladdin just wanted his money in return for the lamp. For real. It's not like Aladdin would have been able to do anything about Jafar using the lamp. Right. But no, Jafar is the basest sort of villain. He's a lowly troll. He simply cannot resist an opportunity to screw someone over for his own sadistic amusement, even when it is directly counterproductive. He wasted time trying to get Aladdin to give up his only leverage when he could have just pulled the man up and completed the deal. Something else that has always bothered me is that if Jafar can take the lamp and get 3 wishes before it is returned to Aladdin, it would seem like Aladdin could have let Jasmine have 3 wishes before setting the genie free. She could have ended poverty and made sure Agrabah's harvests were always bountiful. Pretty much anything on the Hallmark Channel. Wait, let me explain. I am dying of a women's disease. That's Lifetime. Hallmark is 25-year-olds finding love. Lifetime is 40-year-olds being miserable. From the UK, do they just show bottom-of-the-barrel rom-coms? It's the bit that end up on the floor of your cellar. They have like 3 plots they rehash 20 times a season. Home Alone. Yeah, sick, just forget about one of your kids. Home Alone 2. Congratulations on learning from your mistakes and managing to get your kid to the airport this time and he's gone. CPS, yeah, most people don't lose their kid once a year. We're gonna come over and see what's up. To be fair, they went to lengths to explain how he was forgotten so that it didn't rely on pure stupidity. Tons of people in the family making it a crowd. Kevin's plane ticket being lost in the trash. Kevin being sent to sleep up in the attic instead of among everyone else. The family waking up late so they have to rush to the airport as fast as possible. The girl doing the head count to make sure all the kids were accounted for unknowingly tapped the neighbor kid's head, resulting in a full count. Maybe more, it's been a while since I've seen it. No Country for Old Men. Never go back to the scene of the crime. Also, if you find a duffel bag full of cash and decide to keep it, check it for tracking devices. Take the cash. Leave the duffel bag. Now Llewellyn and Carla are living comfortably in an isolated Idaho ranch they paid cash for. Edit: I'm aware the tracker was in a wad of cash. In my version, Moss leaves that stack in the truck with the dead guy. Quit ruining my fantasy of the Mosses living happily ever after. Emperor's New Groove. Isma originally says that she could just turn him into a flea, put that flea in a box, put that box into another box, and eventually send it to herself so she could smash it with a hammer. Then she says to save on postage, she'll just use poison, which ends up not being poison. Even if she went with the original plan, he'd be a flea, and, for all intents and purposes, out of the picture pretty instantly. Isma fucked herself trying to save like a quarter. Or if Coco wasn't a fool and saw past Isma, or wasn't an asshole to everyone, which helped push the whole let's get rid of him mentality. I feel like the job of Emperor is sort of like asshole to everyone. Coco was the Emperor, so he set postage rates no. Saved his own life. School of Rock. Mrs. Mullis, can I see your ID, Mr. Sheebley? Dewey, sorry I don't have it, Mrs. Mullis, sorry you won't be able to teach the kids unless you have proof you're a teacher / who you are. Credits. Hey man, she's under a lot of stress, you have no idea how angry these parents get. She wasn't always like this, you know. There was a time when she was fun. She was funny. But you can't be funny and be the principal of a prep school. To be fair, I have done a lot of substitute teaching and no one has ever once asked to see any kind of ID. Not once ever. I agree. This really shocked me when I was a sub. I was just an unfamiliar adult and I get secretaries asking, you're here for Miss So-and-so, right, room number blah, I'll sign you in. Not the main character, but Star Wars. The Empire grabs Leia's ship and the droids escape in a capsule. There's no life forms. Hold your fire. No, wait. Droids exist in this universe and could be carrying those plans Vardea wants. Let's pull that ship in or dispatch some TIE fighters to intercept it or something. A short time later. Sir, we pulled apart those droids. The golden one was useless, but the astromech had the plans. Vardea, excellent. You will be rewarded for this. Why did I imagine Vardea saying excellent like Mr. Burns? Actually, if you think about underneath the suit, Mr. Burns is a great nickname for him. Also, it's an older code, sir, but it checks out. Literally the reason to change codes is security. Anyone using an old code needs more vetting. Well yes, and the duty officer -- was going -- edit, offered to do exactly that, but Vardea said no, let them through. It took long enough that Solo was just saying they are not buying it because the longer it takes, the likelier it is that it wasn't on. And actually, an older code isn't impossible. Royal Navy ships coming back from a distant exploration mission in the 1700s would still be using recognition signals from when they departed. I can imagine some minor leeway for ID codes for transport or merchant marine vessels in deep space. Edit: duty officer only offered to do additional check after Vardea inquired about the cargo ship. Apologies for the mistake. The main antagonist in Suicide Squad is a member of the team, Enchantress, who turned out to be evil and gains power thanks to some magic MacGuffin that the lady running the team uses to control her. Literally the entire plot of Suicide Squad wouldn't have happened if they didn't bother assembling the fucking Suicide Squad. Edit: wow, this blew up, thanks for the awards. I never imagined my most upvoted comment would be about this piece of shit movie. Voila, I have an idea. We start a team of supervillains and use them to do our dirty work. Government guy who would authorize this, no. The end. If Superman turned evil, who would have stopped him? Great idea, let's form a team that definitely cannot stop Superman. Batman Begins. The Waynes shouldn't have left through the side exit of the theater. Just call Alfred and wait out front. Just hire a driver to pick you up at the entrance like every other elite rich person. Dad, just book an Uber. Whoosh. This is a flashback, shut up and follow me and Mama.